A stingy old man was determined to prove wrong the old saying, "You can't take it with you when you die." After much thought, he finally figured out how to take at least some of his money with him when he died. He instructed his wife to go to the bank and withdraw enough money to fill 2 pillowcases. He then directed her to take the pillowcases full of money to the attic and leave them directly above his bed. His plan was to reach out and grab them on his way to heaven. Several weeks after the funeral, the deceased man's wife, up in the attic cleaning, comes upon the 2 forgotten pillowcases stuffed with cash. "Oh, that old fool," she exclaims. "I knew he should have had me put the money in the basement." A little old lady was walking down the street dragging 2 large plastic garbage bags behind her. One of the bags was ripped, and every once in a while a $20 bill fell out onto the sidewalk. Noticing this, a policeman stopped her and said, "Ma'am, there are $20 bills falling out of that bag." "Oh, really? Darn it," said the little old lady. "I'd better go back and see if I can find them. Thanks for telling me, officer." "Well now, not so fast," said the cop. "Where did you get all that money? You didn't steal it, did you?" "Oh, no," said the old lady. "You see, my backyard is right next to a golf course. A lot of golfers come and pee through a hole in my fence right into my flower garden. It used to really tick me off. Kills the flowers, you know. Then I thought, why not make the best of it? So now I stand behind the fence by the knothole, real quiet, with my hedge clippers. Every time some guy sticks his thing through my fence, I surprise him, grab hold of it, and say, 'Okay, buddy, give me $20 or off it comes.'" "Well, that seems only fair," said the cop, laughing. "Okay, good luck. Oh, by the way, what is in the other bag?" The old lady replies with a grin, "Well, not everybody pays." A couple of old ladies were sitting on a patio and speaking to each other about their grandchildren. "I send gifts, greeting cards, and checks to my grandchildren," complains one, "and still they barely visit me." The second old lady said, "Oh, I too send checks to my grandchildren and they visit me all the time." "You are so fortunate to have more grateful grandchildren than my own," said the first one sadly. The second old lady smiled and said, "No, my grandchildren are about as grateful as yours." "So what do you do different? Are your checks bigger than mine?" asked the first one, surprised. "No, I just don't sign mine." A prostitute standing outside a motel in a small town saw a 70-plus-year-old man walking past. She hasn't had a customer for a while, so she whistles at him and says, "Hey, would you like to have some fun time with me?" The old man said, "But I won't be able to." "Come on, man, give it a try," she says. The old man says, "Okay." They go in. The moment they get to the bed, the old-timer becomes a machine and makes passionate love to her for an hour straight. When he's done, the prostitute catches her breath. Exhausted, she says, "But you said you won't be able to—" "Pay you," completed the old man. An old accountant is on his deathbed. Summoning his last bit of strength, he lifts his head and whispers, "Is my beloved wife Sarah here with me?" And Sarah says, "Yes, I am here." He then says, "Are my children, my wonderful children, are they here with me?" And they reply, "Yes, Father, we are here with you to see you breathe your last." He continues, "Are my brothers and sisters here with me as well?" And they too tell him that they are here. So the old man lies back quietly, closes his eyes, and says, "So if everybody is here, why is the light on in the kitchen?" It was early morning, and an old man in his 80s got up and was putting on his coat. His wife said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to the doctor." She asked, "Why? Are you sick?" "No," he said. "I'm going to get me some of those new Viagra pills." So his wife got up out of her rocker and was putting on her sweater, and he said, "Where are you going?" She said, "I'm going to the doctor too." "Why?" She said, "If you're going to start using that rusty old thing again, then I'm going to get a tetanus shot." Two old ladies go to visit their friend Mary. They sit down, and after a while, Mary says, "How foolish of me, I haven't even offered you coffee." So she gets up and gets the coffee, Sometime later, old Mary says, "How foolish of me! I haven't even offered you coffee." So, again, she gets the coffee. Half an hour later, the scene repeats for the third time. Finally, the two ladies say goodbye. "Mary is acting really weird, don't you think?" says the first one. "All the time we spent there, she hasn't even offered us coffee." The second one looks at her in amazement. "What? You've been to see Mary, and you haven't even invited me." An older, white-haired gentleman walked into a jewelry store one Friday evening with a beautiful young girl at his side. He told the jeweler he wanted a special ring for his girlfriend. The jeweler looked through his stock and found a $5,000 ring. The old man said, "No, I'd like to see something much more special." The jeweler went to his special stock in the safe and brought another ring back. "This one's $40,000. The young lady's eyes sparkled and her whole body trembled with excitement. The old man said, "I'll take it." The jeweler asked how payment would be made, and the old man said, "By check, but I know you need to make sure my check is good, so I'll write it now, and you can call the bank on Monday to verify funds. I'll pick up the ring on Monday afternoon." Monday morning, the jeweler called the old man, saying, "There's no money in that account." The old man said, I know, but let me tell you about the weekend I just had." In their small village, a couple was famous for the husband being 102 years old and his wife being 98 years old, and both in terrific condition, working their farm every day and having the bodies of much younger people. One day, a visitor to the village, curious about the couple, approached the old man at his farm. The old man was cutting wood without a shirt on, sweat glistening on a body that seemed to belong to a man half his age. The visitor introduced himself and asked the old man, "I hear you are 102. "That's correct," said the old man with a smile. "Wow, I must say, you look in amazing shape." "Thank you," said the old man humbly. "Do you mind if I ask, how am I this healthy at my age?" finished the old man. "Help me carry this wood back home and I'll tell you." The visitor agrees, and they make their way inside. "You see," said the old man, "I've been married for 75 years. Now, when we got married, I made a little arrangement with my wife. Every time we have an argument, the loser of said argument must run for 5 kilometers. Seeing as we have a pretty typical marriage, I've been running 5 kilometers almost every day for 75 years. That's why I'm in the great shape I am." "But if that's the case," said the puzzled visitor, "how come your wife is in such great shape too?" "Well," smiled the old man, "she usually runs after me to make sure I finish the whole 5. A lonely 70-year-old widow decided that it was time to marry again. She put an ad in the local newspaper that read, "Husband wanted, must be in my age group, must not beat me, must not run around on me, and must still be good in bed. All applicants, please apply in person." The following day, she heard the doorbell. Much to her dismay, she opened the door to see a gray-haired gentleman sitting in a wheelchair. He had no arms or legs. "You're not really asking me to consider you, are you?" the widow asked. "Just look at you, you have no legs." The old gent smiled. "Therefore, I cannot run around on you." "You don't have any arms either." Again, the old man smiled. "Therefore, I can never beat you." She raised an eyebrow and asked intently, "Are you still good in bed?" The old man leaned back, beamed a big smile, and said, "I rang the doorbell, didn't I?" Two senior ladies were out for a Sunday drive in a huge car. Neither of them could really see too much over the dashboard. When they came to an intersection, the light was red, yet they kept on cruising through. The passenger thought to herself, "I feel like I'm losing it, but I swear we just drove through a red light." A few minutes later, they drove through another red light. The passenger was almost certain that the light had been red, but was still slightly concerned that she might be going mad, so she decided to give the driver one last chance. As they were approaching the next intersection, the passenger paid a great deal of attention. This time the lights were certainly red, yet just as before, they sped past. "Susan!" the passenger yelled. "Do you know we just ran 3 red lights in a row? We could have been killed." "Oh," said Susan. "Oh, am I driving?